Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of love, come to me, come to me.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning and welcome to the Boulder Valley Unitarian Universalist Fellowship on this incredible Sunday morning after such a week. What a difference a week makes, huh? It is so good to be together today. I'm Reverend Lydia Ferrante Roseberry. I'm the minister of this congregation, and I'm joined today by Service Associate Pete Wernick and Mary Stackpole, Tad Koryath, and Emily Jaworski Koryath, Melanie DeMoore, and Abigail and Sean Bengson providing music, as well as our incredible tech ushers, Don Price and Mary Stackpole, who are behind the scenes helping everything run smoothly. And of course, most importantly, I'm joined by you, for you are this fellowship, and you are why we gather. As we join together today, we will start by acknowledging that we are all living on land once stewarded by the Arapaho, Ute, Sioux, and Cheyenne people, and that these lands were violently taken from them. And as we gather and as we understand our role now in this world, let us remember to be healers and to build right relationship with those whom our ancestors violated. I'm going to say our welcome words today, and it's a great time to shift into gallery mode if you aren't there already, and just scroll through the screen so you can get a sense of who is among us today. You are all welcome here today in all the beauty of languages, cultures, skin tones, shapes, and sizes that come together in your uniqueness. You are welcome here. In the beauty that is who you love and how you love, you are welcome here. In all the ways that you make your living and all the places you are from, you are welcome here. In all the ways you experience and express gender, you are welcome here. Christian, pagan, humanist, Jew, Buddhist, mystic, Muslim, Unitarian, Universalist, with all of the traditions that inform your spiritual life, you are welcome here today. And no matter how long you've been away, nor how soon you will return, you are welcome here. Whether you come today with laughter and joy in your heart, or whether you are coming afraid and in tears, you are welcome here. You're invited to join us with an open mind, a loving heart, and willing hands. We welcome you today. And as usual, I have a few announcements this morning. The Social Justice Council and I are rolling out a process for the congregation to affirm a number of justice initiatives. We're hoping there won't be more than 5. And these initiatives will be sort of our North Star, so we can act more decisively and better bring our values of love, reason, compassion, and justice into the world. We'll be having a breakout session following this service to share about these affirmations and the process. And we want to take this to a congregational vote on December 6th. There'll be breakout sessions all throughout between now and December 6th as well. This seemed like a perfect thing for us to do, to roll out on the Sunday following this momentous election. So I hope you'll join me in the breakout room after this service to learn more about it. Pete Warnick, our service associate, will be in the post-service discussion breakout room. And a reminder that our online auction is in full swing. Don't miss out on your opportunity to join in the fun and raise money for the fellowship. Nancy DeLaura and Julie McKenzie will be available in a breakout room after the service again to go over how the online auction will work. And there's already lots of great items on the site, so please go take a look at it. And 2 weeks from now will be our annual bread service. We were hatching some beautiful plans for how to have that, share that bread service, share that bread in person and safely. But now we are under new safer at home guidelines with the high risk designation. So we're back to plan B again, or maybe by now it's probably plan G. We're going to use video for our sharing as we did with the Day of Remembrance. So this time we invite you to send a picture or short, like 10 seconds or less, video of a bread or a food that is part of your family traditions, whether it's your family of origin or your chosen family. Make sure you let us know in writing the name of the bread or the food item, its significance, whether it's homemade or whether you buy it and where you buy it. And we're going to send those to Linda Thornton because she again will create a video for part of this service. We won't be using any audio because there'll be a song running under it. So if you send a video, just keep in mind that we won't be able to use the audio. You can send any recipes to Paul Brendison by the 19th for more ways to share, because we're going to somehow find a way to get those recipes to you as well. And you'll see in the chat now Linda's email address and Paul's. If you are new here, we're glad you found us and hope that this virtual community will help you experience the warmth and love of this congregation. Each Sunday is different here, so come back a few times to really get to know us. And if you want to stay better connected, please see the chat window for links to our first-time visitors page, the email for our office manager, Carol, and a way for you to connect up with our weekly e-newsletter called Connections Weekly. And finally, if you are new here today and you would like to introduce yourself in the chat, please do, because we love to know who is among us. And everyone is invited to stay for virtual coffee after the service or during any of the other offerings I just spoke about. And now we'll light a chalice. So if you have a chalice at home, you can light it with me as I say our chalice, lighting words, and light our fellowship chalice. And so we know where all the chalices are. Please write in the chat, chalice lit in, and then the name in your town. And you can say the words along. As soon as I find my matches, here they are. We light this chalice for the warmth of love, the light of truth, and the energy of action. And now I'll ring our bowl again. And I invite it to draw you deeper into the present moment and this beloved community. We'll also have about 2 minutes of silence following the bowl for you also just to center yourselves and become more fully present among us. May the silence be a welcome friend. The Dr. Jill Bolte Taylor is a neuroscientist who endured a stroke and then wrote a book called My Stroke of Insight. And in all her learning she's done about a stroke with her knowledge, she has come to believe that although many of us think of ourselves as thinking creatures that feel, biologically, we are feeling creatures that think. And in this set of feeling creatures on this earth right now has been through a roller coaster of emotions this past week, maybe even this past month or year, or we might even spread it out to these past 4 years. Now, roller coasters pump our bodies up with adrenaline, leaving us in a heightened state long after we walk down that exit ramp. So even though our nation, our beloved nation, has landed on the side of love after this election, that whole range of emotions may not be fully dissipated from your own body spirits. Here's another view of our snapshot from this morning. We can see the word relieved is quite high up there. That's a nice feeling word to have. But there's also just a whole bunch of other words that we're having. Exhausted, overstimulated, pandemic. We're feeling the pandemic. Lighter, anxious, eager. There's been a whole lot of breath holding this past week that has led up to whatever you may be feeling in this moment. So the first thing we're going to do today is all unmute ourselves. You're going to be invited to all unmute yourselves. And for a moment or two of chaotic sound, we are going to take a deep breath in.
Whoa.
Again. One more time and just for fun, shake it out in your voice too. Oh. Today we are joining together as a community of love and caring to be present to one another in this, the aftermath of the election of our lifetimes, which is taking place in the pandemic. I have been muted through that whole thing, huh?
Yeah, just since you started talking again. Yes, just about.
Oh my goodness. And I was like so on too.
Yeah.
All right, here I go again. So today we are going to join together as a community of love and caring to be present to one another in this, the aftermath of the election of our lifetimes, taking place in the midst of the pandemic of our lifetimes. And all of these feelings that we have been through, we're going to honor them, name them, and find our way through to healing. And we will start by bathing ourselves in a little light.
Shine on me, oh, shine on me. Come on. Let the light from the lighthouse shine on me, oh, shine on me. Yes, shine on me. Let the light from the lighthouse shine on me. Lift me up, oh, lift me up. Let the light from the lighthouse lift me up, oh, lift me up. Yes, lift me up. Let the light from the lighthouse lift me up. Hold me close, oh, hold me close. Let the light from the lighthouse hold me close. Hold me close. Yes, hold me close. Let the light from the lighthouse hold me close. Shine on me, oh, shine on me. Let the light from the lighthouse shine on me, oh, shine on me. Yes, shine on me. Let the light from the lighthouse shine on me.
May it be so. May you feel the light from the lighthouse shine on you. So I have to tell you that Pete and Tad and I spent a lot of time this week speculating about what shape the world would be in today, and then what we could offer about it. The last time we met was Friday morning, and it's a different world from even then. And as much as there may be lots of relief now and cause to take a deep breath and celebrate, this is a victory for democracy and decency, but it isn't the magic moment that's going to wipe away everything that came before. The last I knew, our president has not yet conceded, leaving for me at least a lingering worry about what might happen next. Some of you I know have been engaged with the UUA in scenario planning about what might happen between now and election and inauguration day and even beyond. This stuff is real. It's happening. It will take some time for our bodies to regain some equilibrium and metabolize and release the toxicity, the disregard for life, and the cognitive dissonance we've experienced these past 4 years. And it will take some time to regain trust with those with whom we have personal relationships, who see the world so very differently than we do. These ongoing assaults on our sensibilities have had their impact on our feeling bodies as much as our cognitive bodies, both individually and as a group body, as a collective people. The energy doesn't dissipate as soon as the roller coaster ride stops. Healing is not a one and done thing. So today, and throughout much of this, I've been turning to body wisdom. I learned from my mentor and friend, Cynthia Winton Henry. She shared with me some wisdom that she learned from her friend, a woman named Ruth King. She's an African-American mindfulness teacher who had to learn how to transform her own rage when it made her ill. She wrote a book called Healing Rage, Women Transforming Rage into Inner Peace. And in it, she shares how she uncovered the difference between anger and rage. Anger, she said, is situational. Rage is collective. Anger stems from one circumstance. It's an experience. Rage flows from patterns of angers. It's a torrent of energy that's springing from the repeated impacts, like the ones we've seen in these past 4 years, these repeated assaults to our sensibilities, to our understanding of what is just and compassionate and loving. Rage transcends a single situation. Grief also, she talks about, it's like anger. It is also a situational emotion. Tides of grief can swell unsurmountably high and turn us toward despair. That's an energy we drown in. It's riptides pulling us away from our own creativity, our own joy, our own ability to serve and find balance. When grief compounds and becomes its patterns of sorrow and hopelessness and despair, they become oceanic. Despair is oceanic. Grief and sorrow are the waves. And anxiety also is fear stemming from a situation. It's geyser-like. It moves and shapes up and through us. But the collective anxiety of a whole people, when that anxiety turns into a chronic fear, it turns into terror. And that terror can either be volcanic or it can be paralyzing. So it's clear that the individuals and the communities that have suffered the most oppression have had no choice but to navigate great emotional forces. It's always been that way. And in these last 4 years, so we've seen the populace as a whole shifting, where we are navigating these great emotional forces. But I'd like to say, we've also seen that in this painful blessing, there has been a turn towards love through our democratic process. That's just such a gift to have so many of us broken open by the oppression that we have experienced or we have seen others experience, that it has galvanized our beings to create something new. That's amazing. It is really the gift of healing. We didn't stay in those oceanic places of anger and despair. We moved through them. But there's still impacts in our bodies. There's a researcher called Stephen Borges, I think Borges or Borges, and he identified a nerve that runs through our system called the vagus nerve. It's a unifying nerve through our entire nervous system. It reacts to the fight or flight or freeze messages from the brain and distributes it to other organs. It also does precisely the opposite. It receives and spreads the message of, it's okay, you're safe now, you can relax. On a systemic level, Resba Menakem, the expert in somatic therapy and author of My Grandmother's Hands, calls this our soul nerve. This vagus nerve that runs through all parts of our body except for our thinking brain. It's like the unconscious regulator in our body. This soul nerve is the nerve that we can also use to regulate. In times of great stress, this soul nerve can remain stuck on high alert, or stuck off, frozen. Neither of them allows for the free movement of the creative life force, spirit, to run through the body. A body must have a community of support, healthy guides, tool, and time before it willingly unlocks and transforms these great emotional forces that are moving around and through us. So for me, after being glued to the election results for 5 hours on Tuesday night, I woke up on Wednesday morning and started my day exhausted, holding my breath, but nevertheless feeling energized. I got onto my computer, business as usual, except for realizing how unfocused I was, except for the constant checking of my news feeds, except for the crankiness with my family, and except for that spin of misplaced anxiety. It wasn't until my monthly spiritual direction session that afternoon, how wise I was to know I might need spiritual direction the day after the election. It wasn't until then when I was able to tap into what was really going on underneath the choppy surface of my busyness. And there I was able to shed a few tears of fear and exhaustion. Spiritual direction, it's a relationship of accompaniment. It's more about healing than curing, as I talked about last week. I've been with my own spiritual director for about 12 years now. She knows me. She's seen the ebbs and flows of my life. That accompaniment is the opposite of the white-knuckled grip of the roller coaster. It's an opportunity to lean back into the embrace of what is, and know that no matter what state I'm in, what comes out of my mouth, I am worthy and I am not alone. Author Libby Catildi wrote, "It's better to cry than to worry, and it's better to feel your wounds deeply than to intellectualize them. It is in our heart where we discover that they will not destroy us." Today, a week after intense political drama that lies in the midst of another wave of pandemic surges, that lies as we are surrounded by smoldering fires and our heightened awareness of this nation's systemic racism. Today, we are going to invite you into a little heart spaciousness, either in small breakout rooms or a time for personal meditation in the main Zoom room. If you want some peaceful quiet to check in with your own heart, stay in the main room for some meditative music. If you want to share your reflections about your current state of being, the state of your heart with others, you can hop onto one of the breakout rooms. If you choose your own breakout room today, your Zoom software must be updated to 5.3.1 or higher. So many of you have already done this upgrade to go into these breakout rooms. But if not, please send Don a chat about which Zoom room you'd like to go into. And he'll send you there, but it may take a few minutes for him to get everybody who chats him. If you have the upgraded software and choose your own room, make sure to scroll through the list of rooms you see to see them all. We've taken some words. We want to kind of group you by what might be your state of being. So we've taken a few words: exhausted, ready for action, still worried, hopeful, excited, still overstimmed, relieved, and thrilled. You'll see them when you press on your breakout room button. Now, it's going to be hard to pick just one. Don't tie yourself in knots about this. This is just an opportunity to be with a few people. Try not to crowd all into one room because we'll have about 6 minutes of sharing. And there will be, I believe, 2 breakout rooms for each, 2 or 3, Don. I can't see your finger. 2. While you're in your breakout room, you're invited to reflect upon this. What would bring you healing right now? What do you need? And those questions are also in the chat. And then during the offering, we will invite you to share with everyone what came up for you around those questions. So you're welcome now to join a breakout room or just stay for some meditative, beautiful meditative music provided by, I believe, Tad.
breathe in, when I breathe out, I'll breathe out. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out. When I breathe in, I'll breathe
One way we keep going is by recognizing the abundance of our own lives and sharing it with those in need. We do this each week by giving half of our virtual collection plate away to organizations that share our values. Today, we share our plate with the 2020 Fire Relief Fund of the Boulder Community Foundation. We can all imagine what important purposes our donations will go to for fire relief. As we share the offering, we invite anyone who wants to put a few words in the chat about what they need now for healing. And anyway, we are going to do the offering now. toward the work of this fellowship, bringing love, reason, compassion, and justice to this world and to the Community Foundation of Boulder County 2020 Fires Relief Fund, we dedicate our offerings.
And now we sing. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live.
For those of you who are ready to move forward, I'd like to share some lessons I've learned about healing following fractious times. This can apply to many situations. Getting along with and working with coworkers you disagree with about important things. Being in an organization or a country that seems to be on the wrong path. Getting over a blowout in your own family. Sometimes a cool down time is helpful. Some hurts lose their edge over time. Another thought is search for common ground and respect for the other. If you believe in democracy, here's a basic truth that it might be hard to feel. We and our concerns are on some grand scale of equal weight to those of other people. And some of those concerns may even overlap. We all want a lot of the same things. Think about what those are. Maybe you can work together on common interests, even if you disagree fervently with some of their views. They've earned their place here just as you want to be accepted for your right to be here. Democracy treats us all as equals. We each have our individual rights and our one vote. It can help to search for respect for those you differ with, for the things they've specialized in that you haven't, the experiences they've had that you haven't. Look deeply and see if you can feel humbled by their expertise, their wisdom, all the hours, days, and years they invested throughout their lives to become what they have become, their heartaches, their miseries, their flaws. Yes, of course they have some, just like you. Maybe they have had some hard times you've never experienced, and that has shaped their views. Maybe they suffered some really unfair injustices. If you disrespect their views, maybe you can respect their accomplishments and skills, or what they've been through. In short, what is the other person's story? How did they end up with their views? See it from inside their head if you can. Looking at the past, we have a lot of recent past that really churned us up. Old grievances are best left alone. Or if they must be revisited, go light, approach with caution, and lead with empathy. This is not time to vent. That day may come, but not now. Maybe you can vent with someone else, or right here today, and express your truest feelings safely, even in a journal. Is there any point to rehashing something that's been settled? Probably not. What good can come of that? See if you can think of it as part of the past that will never change because it's the past. You do have the ability to change what happens going forward. The Serenity Prayer searches to accept the things you cannot change and try to change the things that you can change. Moving ahead, turn attention to collaborating on something positive you both feel good about. Invite the person to do something you both like, maybe even a project you both believe in. When new episodes or projects start, past grievances naturally get de-emphasized. They don't disappear, but they can be in the rearview mirror, and with our attention directed forward, new mutual experiences leave less brain space for the old hurts. As time goes on, continuing to work together, it's possible that shared good experiences will, in a sense, grow over some of the old grievances like vines, like new growth in a charred forest. It takes time, and if you can maintain the peace while the new growth happens, some perspective may be gained in the process.
Thank you, Pete. It is important for us to imagine how some healing can come after these tumultuous times. We're going to move into our time of joys and concerns, because in the midst of all of this, our own personal lives have not stopped. We still have joys and we still have our own challenges. So if you have a personal joy or concern to share, please raise your hand using the button in the participants window, and Dawn will unmute you. If you prefer, you can share your joy or concern in the chat by sending a chat to everyone, and then Dawn will read out what you have sent. When you do share, whether it's by voice or by chat, please tell us your name and where you live, and then briefly know what's in your heart today. And for this part of the service, I invite us to keep it to those personal joys and concern. There's been a lot of chat going on about our global concerns about what happens next, and I hope you'll find other small group times to talk about that. But for our own personal joys and concerns, we open up this space now. Beloveds, I'll put one last stone in for all the joys and concerns that remain in the silent sanctuary of our hearts, knowing that even in our silence, we are bound together in the web of life. And it is clear by how heavy my bowl is this morning, how much is in our hearts. In the midst of it all, in the midst of so much that we are carrying in our collective body, our own beings, our own challenges are also with us. Let us remember that we cannot do this alone. We need one another in community. And when one of us has many stones they need to put in this sacred water, there are others of us with strength to reach out, to remember and remind one another of our worthiness, of our capacities, of our gifts, and that together we are always stronger. Beloveds, on this day that has both relief and concern, let us remember that we move through this life more joyfully and stronger together. May this be our community of hope and love and justice. Blessed be. We'll be ending today's service with This Is My Song. It's an old hymn tune with new verses written by Tad Koryath and Pete Wernick for today. And it is sung by Mary Stackpole.
This is my song, O God of all the nations, a song of peace for lands afar and mine. This is my home, the country where my heart is. Here are my hopes, my dreams, my holy shrine. is my song, a song sung for our nation. But I can hear it's not the only one. My song rings true within my heart and people, but other tunes are lovelier to some. Still sing this song of light and hope and love, till disparate notes may harmonize as one. We're going through a time of deep division, with friendships under strain and families torn. It will take time to gather all the voices. I'll do my part to listen and to learn. With compromise and a generous spirit, we may yet make our light of kindness burn.
Now it is time to extinguish our chalice, so please say these words along with me. We extinguish this chalice, but not the warmth of love, the light of truth, or the energy of action. These we carry in our hearts until we meet again. Beloveds, let us go forth, taking care of what our own bodies need after this roller coaster of time we've been in, loving one another to our fullest capacities, and bringing that love and compassion out into the world. Blessed be and amen. Have a blessed day. Join us, stay for the breakout rooms, and onward we go.